Dragons, I'm here to do my wrap up for the end of June. So I was still doing the amazing readathon. I was traveling. It was the end of school. Life got a little bit crazy. I definitely read about as much as I predicted, but the last week was a bit crazy because I was traveling and I was in Chicago at ALA. So I didn't read as much that week, but I still completed all the legs. We're going to call us golden for that part. So the first book I finished listening to was The Shippers by Catherine Center. I will attach a photo of that book here. It was a 5-star read for me. I really like this book. Also, at the end I'll do my stats because I forgot. I just wanted to just dive right in, but at the end I'll do my stats. I normally do it at the beginning, but we may rearrange this. So if you see the stats at the start, it's because I changed it. But I really like this book. I gave this book 5 stars. It basically, I love all of Catherine Center's books. Like when she switched to doing more romantic comedies, I really did like them. I haven't read her more women's fiction-y stuff, but this is a second chance childhood friends to more romance. Follows the main character. The book starts with her getting married. Her wedding winds up, like, she calls up the wedding and she winds up going on a trip on a cruise for her sister's wedding, and she winds up teaming up with her childhood best friend to get her a man, and things kind of go from there. Very fun. Isolated fun. Just very funny. There's also a lot of, like, Catherine Center always does like a really good job at incorporating interesting elements in this story. There was a lot of family drama in here, and it was just very cute. I gave it 5 stars. I really like all her stories. They're my type of humor. Very witty, very charming, and characters that you would just love, and I gave this book 5 stars. Okay. And then the next book I read physically was Murder at the Mansion by Ellie Alexandra. This is her 4th book in her novel detective series. I will attach a photo of that book here. Physically, which I don't normally do, but I had a neck alley arc and I was reading physically, and I was really struggling with focus, you'll see, like, in this month, so I really wanted some quick things that I could get through. And I love this book, and this is my favorite book in the series. I read it physically. It was like a very small set of characters, and I felt like I knew them all very well. But basically, this novel detective, this older woman goes missing, and she's kind of teaming up with the family to figure out what went wrong. There was a dog involved, and it was just very fun. I give this book 4.5 stars. Probably my favorite in the series. We are sort of inching closer to the overall mystery in the series. We'll probably get that next book. I think the next book comes out in October, but I really like this, and I gave this book 4 stars for review. And then the next book I read was another e-arc. I think I read this one for 2 point of views. I had to read 2 point of views for a book, and I wound up reading this one. So this goes Must Love and Libations by Maisie McGill. I will have attached a photo of that book here. And this was a book for 2 point of views, and it is set 2 in my cozy fantasy romance series. This one follows a wedding planner and the librarian, and the wedding planner wanted to throw a party in the library, and this grumpy orc was like, no way, and it goes from there. I really liked this book. I gave a book 4 stars. It was so fun, so cute, and this is just a very light-hearted series, very quick, great for like a summer beach read because it's just fun, elevated spice, but I had a really fun time with it, and I gave it 4 stars. And the next book I read was Scarlet and Ivy, The Lost Twin by Sophia Cleverly. This is a book I got when I went to Ireland. I gave this book 5 stars. I really want to get more books in this series or just pick them up as I find them. But this one is a middle grade series about a main character named Scarlet Ivy. Her twin Scarlet died, and she kind of has to take her place at this mansion and this boarding school, and things kind of go from there. And I really like this book. I read this book so quickly. I like the characters. It was fun. It's definitely more of a mystery in this book, but basically she had to become her twin and figure out what's happening at the school. And I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. I think this book is like a 5-book series, so I may try to get more books like as I'm traveling, but I really like this and gave this book 5 stars. And this was a book that had trees on the cover. That was the prompt. I read it for sightseeing. And then the next book that I read was Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. I will attach a photo of that book here. This was a fun one. I really did like this one. I gave this book 4 stars. This is the new start of her Emerald Lake series. You have a character that's kind of like a PA or like a set design assistant and The Bachelor, and they kind of have a past Their brothers know each other because they're both bull riders, and there's like a horse involved, and she kind of does like basically their version of the Bachelor show, and they're very, very forbidding because you're not supposed to fall for like the crew. And I liked it. I like the second chance element to it. I like the banter. I like the setting. I like the characters. I gave this book 4 stars, and I really want to go back and read Theo's book, but more importantly, I want to get the other characters because I really did like them. We met them all. Always in the first book, you kind of do flesh out the series. I gave this book 4 stars, and I had a fun time with it. Definitely elevated spice, I will say that, but I still did really enjoy it. And I just mean elevated spice for me. And then I read A Drizzle of Danger by Simone Steer. I will attach a photo of that book here. Second book in the Cozy Crime series. I gave this book 4 stars. This one was very, very fun as well. It was a really, really quick listen. I actually I read this book twice, listened to it the last hour like a lot because I was really losing my focus. But I did like it. I didn't feel as connected to the characters and the story in this one, but I do like it. We actually got the cafe in this one, and we got kind of a fun murder mystery element. I like this. I gave book 4 stars, and I definitely want to read book 3 in this series soon. And then the next book that I read is Must Love, Lavenders, and Little Lies by Maisie McGill, the 3rd book in that series. I will attach a photo of that book here. I think this one was a genre blend, which is a fantasy romance, and I will attach a photo of that book here, but this one was like one of my sightseeing prompts. But I did like this one. This one was friends to more, fake dating, fake marriage. These 2 characters are forced to marry because there's like a thing in the work society where you have to marry by you're 30, and it was really, really fun. This was definitely my favorite. I gave this book 4.5 stars. Definitely my favorite of the series, but I really do like the cozy romantasy, and I like when it's not elevated. Like I like the level of spice that Maisie McGill does is really, really fun, and I did enjoy it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I hope I get to read more by this author in the future. This is when I failed to remember like what book was for what. I think Must Love, Lavenders, and Lilies was for mental health rep. Yeah, I think that was because I used my power up card. And then the next book that I read was The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Ellie Alexander. I read this for a book releasing this year. I will attach a photo of that book here. In that series, and this is a fall cozy. I really like this one as well. This one was probably one of my recent favorites in this series. I just really, really like the characters. The mystery was hard to predict. I did physically read it as well, which is maybe why the characters stuck with me a little bit more. We also had a lot of like and like subplots that kind of wrapped up, and I really did like this. I'm really excited to see where the other books in the series goes. We'll probably have to wait till 2027 to get a new one, but I really do like her. This is probably one of my favorite series to date that she's written, and I really enjoy the length of it and how the characters change. And then the last book that I read was a bit of a departure for me. It is Sisters in Debt, The Black Dahlia, The Prairie Harris, and Their Hunter, and I will attach a photo of that book here. Interesting. It was basically someone's take on who killed the Black Dahlia, but also connecting to isolated murders and kind of making the case that whoever, like the person that killed the Black Dahlia and this lady is the same, and this is who did it. And I just found it very compelling and very interesting, so I really did like it. It was a very, very passive listen, very interesting, and I think I've never really experienced, like I knew about the Black Dahlia, but I think his writing was very, very captivating, so I gave that book 4 stars, but I don't really rate nonfiction. But yeah, let's go through the stats of what I read for the month of June. I always say that when I do readathons, it does help me read because it motivates me, but let me go do my stats. June, I read 20 things. I read 5,963 pages, an average page count of 198 pages per day. Average page count was 298. I did actually read a lot of smaller things this month. I read a lot of mysteries. I read the most. 1 book with rep, 11 from authors I read before. I hauled 12 books. I'm not even counting ALA in my books I hauled because they were all for free. I had 3 5 stars, 12 4 stars, 1 3.5, 2 3 stars for an average rating of 3.63. My new release was 10. I read 6 backlist, 4 from last year. I had 6 physical, 9 audio, 1 mixed media, 4 ebooks. I read a lot on my Kindle this month as well. I started 8 series. I continued in 5. I caught up with 5, and I read 6 standalones and 3 companions. I read 4 middle grade, 3 YA, 13 adult. I read 0 ARC, 6 from Audible, 2 from KU, 5 from the library, 2 from NetGalley, 5 owned. And again, those stats sometimes don't always work. But I read 5 romance, 4 fantasy romance, 7 mystery, 2 nonfiction, 2 manga or graphic novels. And yeah, that is my stats. And then let me go look at my entertainment things that I did. I watched Doctor Who. It was a very, very Doctor Who heavy month. Then I started watching The Rookie. So yeah, and I was watching a little bit of like true crime stuff this month as well. So that is where we are. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite book that you read in June. I would love to know, and I'll see you guys for my July TBR. Bye, book friends.